Hi guys, History Writer here. Welcome back. Today we are going to do a little bit of a discussion and a kit box review of the kit that I chose to build for the International Scale Modeler. There we go. Homeland group build. Uh, I think in my channel update, you guys heard me talking a little bit about the dismal attempts I made the last few times, and then now getting an F-106 kit to build for the group build. That is indeed the case. We are going to talk a little bit about the Convair F-106 Delta Dart. Then we are going to take a look at the Revell kit of the F-106. So that's what we have in store for us today. A little bit about the F-106. It was a modification with some basic redesigned features of the F-102. If you remember, we talked a little bit about the dismal design of the F-102 versus the redesign of the F-102A, which used the area rule in its design, so to make that real nice Coke bottle shape. I know that I talked a little bit about the area rule earlier in one of my other videos. Excuse me, gotta have coffee. Well, in any case, the F-106 was going to be the F-102B with modifications made by through the discovery of applying the area rule to the F-102 airframe. So what they did is they narrowed the fuselage a little bit even more. They changed the tail design. They changed the wings up just a little bit. They discovered that they can leave hard points on the wings and it wasn't going to affect anything. They changed up the cockpit design a little bit, made it a little bit narrower, streamlined everything, and lengthened the intakes. This was one of the coolest redesigns that the aircraft ever did, and the Air Force bought it up, and they couldn't have enough of them. The F-106 was part of the Century series, which started out with the F-100 and ended basically with the F-106, even though they had an F-103 design in there, and an F-107, and designs for an F-108. But nothing really ever came of those. Because of the other jets within the Century series, for example, the F-104 and the F-105, they did not need the F-106 to be a multi-role fighter. It was solely an interceptor. The interceptor had one mission: to be on high alert status, and if we were to detect the Russians coming over to either bomb us or drop nuclear ordnance, anything like that, they would scramble these interceptors and either meet them and escort them out of airspace, or if we have to, shoot them down. The F-106 was really famous for a 5-minute alert status, and we'll talk a little bit about that in what I'm going to do to kind of show that in the build. 5-minute alert status was basically the aircraft were sitting in hangars ready to go at a moment's notice at the end of the runway, so all they had to do was start the jet and take off, really. They just had to taxi out to the runway and zip, they're done. They were able to maintain a 5-minute alert status, while today's NATO standards is 15 minutes. So you can imagine how awesome the ground crews and the pilots were to be able to handle that. Excuse me. Montana. Well, anyway, let's talk a little bit about the F-106. Was a primary component of the actual regular Air Force. It then started, once the F-15 and the F-16 started coming about, and the F-4, the Air Force started transitioning all of the F-106s, kept their interceptor roles, but transitioned that job to the Air National Guard. And that is how my home state of Montana got the F-106 with the for their Air National Guard units based out of Great Falls. And they were one of the last, if not the last, Air National Guard unit to transition from F-106 to F-16 back in '87. So, if you can imagine, this jet had probably one of the longest and most illustrious careers as far as an Air Force jet is concerned, from the early 1960s to the late 80s. It's such a cool jet. It's got such great lines. They even they kept a design that not very many jets used. The internal weapon storage bays. We haven't used that except for the F-117 and the newfangled jets, that F-22 Raptor and that joke, the F-35. All internal weapon bays. They use the internal weapon bays to keep everything stealthy and keep such a low radar profile, while the F-102, the F-106, used the internal weapon bays to maintain stability and airworthiness during supersonic flight. Little did they know that with the advent of stealth technology, the internal weapon bays would come back. Pretty cool. Let's see, what else can we talk about the F-106? It was very quick. It was about Mach 2, I believe. It used a newer engine, a redesign, a tail can, so it could actually, have a high-speed engine rate while taxiing around and not blow anything around or make a mess of for the ground crew to have to clean up. It was really stable, really fast. They had a couple of redesigns for it to fit a Vulcan machine gun into it through Project 6-shooter. They had live-fire William Tell exercises to test the capabilities of the various Air Force crews around the country. Montana's won a couple of those. Go Vigilantes, man. Go Big Sky Country. Anyway, I love the F-106. I'll probably just keep on prattling on about it. So let's get to the workbench, shall we, and see what there is to see about this Revell kit. Hey guys, welcome back to History Writer's Workbench. Today we are going to be looking at the F-106 Delta Dart, 1/48 scale, made by Monogram and or Revell, just depending on what era of the kit that you get it in. This one happens to be the Revell repackaging of the old Monogram mold. So the only thing different about it is really just the box art. Got some decent artist depiction of the 106 taking off there, and the demo builds with a good-looking the interior bomb bay for the missiles, and just the general blurbs, general write-ups, and what to paint it, how to color it. Anyway, as far as the 1/48 scale is concerned, the only kit really out there up until the new release of the Trumpeter kit recently was the Monogram. They actually did a really good job. Back then it was all the raised panel lines and whatnot, so not the greatest of detail, but boy did it ever sure get the point across. And if you had that thing painted up, they looked sharp. you could also get conversion kits to build it into the F-106B, which was the two-seater model. I have some spare parts laying around, so if I can get another one of these kits, I might build the 106B. But in any case, without further ado, let's take a look at it. So, I had to forgive the condition of the kit. I had to get this one off of eBay since it's hard to find them anymore. So we'll see what kind of status we've got. We'll take a look at the instructions now. Usual stuff for Revell monogram. Just a short little blurb about the Ultimate Interceptor F-106 Delta Dart and what it could carry, how fast it could go. It was very fast. It was about a Mach 2 aircraft. Could carry Falcon missiles and the Genie nuclear rockets. Later on, they fitted it up with a Vulcan M60 cannon, and updated the cockpits a little bit. But in any case, there's all the color breakouts. Let's get the decals off to the side here. But you know, usual Revell monogram stuff. Very simplistic. You know, just real simple pictures, just to get the point across. A few, not too many steps. So, like I said, you know, it seems like based off the instructions, just a real simplistic kit. Nothing fancy, just to get the point across. And then here looks like we've got two separate canopies we can use. And that was the one of the results of the Project 6 shooter, was to give the pilots better visibility. In any case, and then here we've got all the color markings and decal layout. So we're not going to be paying too much attention to these, except for the ADC gray, which Air Defense Command gray, and we're going to be putting some custom decals on it, and we'll go over those in a moment. So that's it for the instructions. Let's take a look at the decals here. This kit was it was designed in the 80s, but then it was repackaged, reboxed in 2004, and the decals can show it. I mean, they're starting to have a little bit of silvering over the top, or they're starting to decay or degrade, fade a bit. Like I said, no need to worry about these ones. We are going to be using a custom set of decals from Caracal Models, printed by Cartograph. So these are going to be going in, relegated into the spares box just in case I screw up. Alright, now let's take a look at the kit. Simple, you know, just molded gray plastic. With these older monogram kits or Revell kits, there is, you know, they didn't really take too much care. So there's a lot of raised panel lines, and there's a lot of injection molding flash, injector pin marks, you know, just like if you can take a look along here, we've got that there, that, you know, just, you know, nothing to write home about, nothing very good, just, like I said, just gets that point across. Where they do kind of shine, however, oddly, is the internal detail within the landing gear and bomb bay. But that, you know, that's going to hide if you build it wheels up or bomb bay doors closed, so what, it's simple. It's a real simple control there. You can see the details of the bomb bay there. Pretty cool. So, you know, aftermarket kits could make it. And there we are. So 1983, and then it was reboxed in 2004. Real simple construction, you know, just modular pieces fitting together, and you can see it's going to require a lot of tender loving care, lots of gap filling. I mean, I had to go through this with the F-102 that I built for the Shelf of Doom build that I didn't finish. So in any case, you know, it's going to be a labor of love, but what modeling isn't? So yeah, you can see that there. There's just lots of pieces to go in, lots of gaps, lots of seams to fill, sanding, filing, everything. Fuselage, it's an odd construction, but same thing there. You know, just lots of flash. So, you know, this is, construction-wise, you know, just dirt cheap, gets the point across. Just build it if you want to get an F-106. I'm going to try, I would hope to build the trumpeter and see how they compare as far as detail and or fit. I know the fit on these things, if you did it right, it's not bad. I mean, there, let's see if we can move this into the side here. Just by basically piecing it together, you know, look at that. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Almost, you get the point across. Wow, it's going to look like a pretty cool jet. So that was fun. All right, let's take a look at the rest here. Set that off to the side so you can see it. Yep. Landing gear. I know they make third-party or aftermarket kits for the white resin, at least for nose wheel. The cockpit tub, no detail there. Being once again custom, we're going to actually do the cockpit a little bit differently. I will talk about that when I talk about the decals. But what the heck, you know, at least we get a pilot. So I have to build him up a little bit. If I've got time or the inclination, we might do aftermarket cockpit. Who knows? For the modular stuff or ordnance, you know, actually they did a pretty decent job on that. Not too much flash. It just seems like the fuselage they didn't really care about, which is odd. The only part of the kit that has recessed panel lines is the bomb bay, which is weird. The closed bomb bay doors. Sorry about that. So yeah, there you can see there. Look at that. Recessed panel lines on the bomb bay. Don't know why. Why couldn't they do it to the rest? And everything else is pretty simple. One cool thing though is the level of detail for the stock instruments here. What's really funny is the instruments are fitting with the old the model that I want to build. They're the old slider instruments versus the glass dials. So yeah, the vertical tape is what they called them. One of the redeeming features of this kit is the level of quality for the glass, for the clear parts. Really clean, really crisp, really sharp, good panel lines, the real nice sharp delta wedge for the the front-facing windscreen, and then it gives you the two different canopy designs for pre-Project 6 shooter and then post-Project 6 shooter. So the one that I'm going to be building, we're probably going to be using the post-Project 6 shooter because that's where the unit that I'm building got all of their F-106s from, was after that. Okay, so I don't think it's any big surprise. Let's go ahead and put all that stuff back. So there it is. That's the kit. Bar none, you know, just they seem to have spared all the expenses they could, but that is what it is. So it's going to be a lot of work, but I think in the end, you know, I just want to get the point across and show what it is. So F-106 Delta Dart, everybody. Built by, designed by Revell Monogram, reboxed, repackaged. So anyway, enough drivel about that. Not too impressed, but what the heck, it'll be fun. Okay, now here's the cool part. We are going to take a look at the decals. These are, as I said before, Caracal models out of Texas. They're printed by Cartograph. They just released these. It's a brand new set, and it is for the F-106 National Guard units. And it comes with Florida, Massachusetts, but most importantly, Montana. Okay, that one right here. We're gonna build the F-106 from Montana, my home state. So you know, big special. So let's take a look. I've worked with Cartograph printed decals before, so they are pretty slick. But let's take a look at the markings. There we are. We've got F-106A and an F-106B. Everything's pretty much identical, but all Montana ANG markings. And then just the just everything else that's standard. So, nice little color call out for the F-106s, especially with the decals, and then just switching the Basically, they're all painted identical, with the exception of what the custom units that they were. So, you know, they just had the unit flash on the drop tanks, so everything was all pretty much in the same spot. But cool, there you have it. Let's take a look at the decals here. Cartograph, they are really good quality, you know, really crisp, really clear. No extra bleed off for the transfers. They are a really nice semi-gloss, and no silvering whatsoever. It looks everything clear. These are all the standard universal markings that go on every aircraft. Then what we have here are the tail numbers. You can see here, these are the ones for the Montana. Nice big bold tail numbers. So, and then all the registry numbers and custom, let's see, whoever got there. Oh no, these are more of the universal ones, but at least the tail numbers are all going to be separate. So that's them. Real nice quality, real thick. I mean, these look like they're going to go on real nice. So I better take care of the kit in order to put them on nice. Then good old USAF, U.S. Air Force universal rundels, and then of course the big letters. Really nice quality. They are all, you know, like the F-102 kit that I built, the USAF, that was really, really long. These ones are short. They go right over the intake, so it's, you know, they cut off a lot of the excess material that had to be slid wall transferring. So I'm pretty pleased about that. I'm looking forward to these. Now, the big ones, I best not screw up. There they are, guys. Montana, Big Sky Country, the Air National Guard, with those nice big blue arrows for the 120th Fighter Intercept Squadron Group, Great Falls, Montana. And the big blue triangles for the tail. This is going to be a lot of fun. These, like I said, same kind of quality as we saw before. Real crisp, real good colors, that semi-gloss finish, so when it's going to be covered over with the clear coat, they are really going to pop. So I'm looking forward to put these on. I just better not screw up to make them worth it. Anyway, those are the decals. That's the kit. I don't think there's anything else to cover as far as the review is concerned, so we will catch you guys on the flip side. We'll see you on the forums, see you on Facebook, see you on YouTube. Always welcome your comments. We'll see you guys later. Catch you on the flip side. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Like I said, this kit is just real simple, bare bones. I will try and look for any other aftermarket stuff I can find. I know, like I was thinking, there's maybe an Aries ejection seat, maybe a cockpit kit. I don't know. Don't know how much time I'll have for it. But we'll see what I can do. I'm really excited. I can't wait to build the 106, and I want to try that trumpeter one just to see what kind of the level of detail differences and fitting and whatnot. So I'm really happy to get back into it, guys. Oh, one other thing about Montana. Our Air National Guard unit was the only unit to paint their cockpits a different color. There's a couple different stories as to how or why. One is the fact that they were testing out a different color to make it easier on the pilot's eyes. Okay, cool. Just kind of a little big sky blue color, you know, kind of an interesting, like almost a powder blue, not quite a turquoise blue, but a light shade of blue that was supposed to make it easier than the gray or just black. The other story to that, which actually has more substantial evidence to it, was back when a MiG-25 defected. it had an interesting color in the cockpit, and the Montana Air National Guard's like, hey, that's kind of a cool color. Let's put it in our cockpits. So, depending on who you talk to, you'll probably hear a couple different stories. But I'm going to paint it as that color in the cockpit. Ooh ah. The F-106, cool plane, cool jet, very fast, very vicious, quite the interceptor. And it was sad to see them go. I got to see them when I was a little kid. I got to see one fly. One of my roommates in college was actually an F-106 pilot before we transferred over to the F-16s. And when I was a little kid, one of my babysitter's husband was a 106 pilot. So I have been around these things, love them, can't wait to build it, can't wait to show you guys the progress. Appreciate all the support, all the encouragement. I want those comments to keep coming. Let me know how I'm doing. Grab me in the nose, kick me in the butt if I'm doing something wrong. You know, keep the positive, constructive criticism coming, guys. And really appreciate all the support. So looking forward to doing this for you. We will be on the forum, International Scale Modeler. I'll be on YouTube. I'll be a little bit on Facebook. We'll keep you up to date. Anyway, we'll catch you on the flip side. History Writer out.